I wonder what game I should play today. Certified Royal, huh? No thanks. Luigi's Mansion 3? Oh, beat it already. Could do it again. Kingdom Hearts? I'm too lazy. Summer Dancing. Ready to death. You know, what I want to play is a dungeon-crawling game starring the Jack Bros from Shin Megami Tensei that's on the Virtual Boy. It's an oddly specific game.
Yeah, that's right. Atlas actually released a dungeon crawler game starring Jack Frost, Pyrojack, and Jack the Ripper on the freaking Virtual Boy. If you're a big fan of Atlas games, you've probably already heard of Jack Bros, but if you don't know about it, I guess I should go into this game's background. Jack Bros was released in 1995 on the Virtual Boy as a launch title, making it also a last title. If you don't know what the Virtual Boy was, well, in short, it was Nintendo's attempt at VR, which was apparently popular at the time. Oddly enough, Jack Bros was the first title related to Shin Megami Tensei to be released outside of Japan. Yeah, the first SMT game we got was a dungeon crawler for the Virtual Boy. It's a wonder the series is successful outside of Japan. The first mainline SMT game to come out after Jack Bros was Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne 9 years later. In between that, however, was the release of the original Persona and Persona 2 Eternal Punishment. Not Innocent Sin, however. But anyway, back to Jack Bros. There's not much else to say about history, so let's get into the game. The story is simple. On Halloween, the World of Fairies opens and the fairies come out to play. However, they must get back to the portal before midnight or else they will lose their powers and disappear. Without realizing it's almost midnight, the Jack you selected forgot to start heading home, and with the help of Pixie, must make his way back to the portal before midnight. It's a simple story, really, at least compared to other SMP games. Now, the gameplay of Jack Bros varies with which character you choose. Jack Frost has a fast fire rate, but deals low amounts of damage. Pyrojack has a middle-of-the-road fire rate and deals medium amounts of damage. Jack the Ripper does not have a projectile, but his attack deals huge damage. Each character also has super moves which have various effects. Jack Frost can freeze all enemies on the screen, and Pyrojack and Jack the Ripper damage all enemies on the screen. Unlike many other dungeon crawlers, Jack Bros doesn't have a health mechanic, but a timer. Taking damage makes the timer go down, and if the timer hits 0, you lose. Luckily, you can find clocks that give you more time. The only other items you can pick up are more stars to use more super moves, shields that nullify damage 3 times, and invincibility potions that make the Jack run around at the speed of sound and kill any enemy that touches them. Let's get into the game. The first area is the Forest of Fairies. It's a really short area and the boss is Lamia, nothing too bad. Her projectiles can be destroyed and she goes down pretty quickly. Area 2 is the Grim Reaper's Cavern. It's longer than the Forest of Fairies, but still pretty easy. The Tomcats are a bit annoying though. The boss at this level is not the Grim Reaper, but Sinister Scar. Sinister Scar can be pretty difficult. In his first phase, he shoots these skulls in 8 directions, but in his second phase... Snake! The third area is the Temple of Nightmare. This is when the areas start to get a bit longer. One of the most annoying enemies that starts to appear on this floor is the Cyclops. The Cyclops runs around the floor and causes earthquakes that stun Jack no matter where you are. This can lead to some situations where the Cyclops can easily hit you or the elves can shoot arrows at you. The boss of the Temple of Nightmare is Vampire. He's only annoying because of the amount of bats he spawns and the conveyor belt floor that changes what seems to be every 5 seconds. The next area is the Dragon's Belly.
It's a cave. This game is a liar.
The boss here is Spider Orb. This is another fairly tough fight. You can only hit its eye, and it often covers its eye with its arms, but the arms constantly shoot projectiles that can't be destroyed. Also, the freaking orb shoots these stun projectiles that hold you in place for like 5 seconds and make you unable to attack. Ah! I beat him on the first try with Jack the Ripper. Anyway, Area 5 is the Mecha Fortress. This area is pretty long, but it's doable. However, the boss here is super obnoxious. It's the Wyvern, spelled Wyvern for some reason, and it's got some pretty cheap tricks. It can shoot a stream of fire that covers an entire part of the floor, and as it shoots fire, it can follow you and trap you near a wall. Also, the ground has jack traps moving up the floor, and you have to avoid these while avoiding the fire. The best time to attack it is when it begins to flap its wings at you to push you into jack traps. But the jack traps stop moving here, and the wyvern doesn't breathe fire, so when this happens, just run in and beat the snot out of it. After that, it's on to the final level, the Crystal Palace. This is the longest area in the game, of course, and it's pretty difficult. Any floor with a Cyclops is, of course, difficult due to the earthquakes, and the boss of this area is Belzoff. The first phase is pretty annoying. These spikes close in on you if you're between them, and he shoots a ton of different projectiles. And when you defeat him, he becomes oh my god! That's kinda scary. This fly form is very difficult, and the one run where I actually got to him, I only beat him by wearing him down and then spamming the super attack because I managed to collect a ton of stars. He starts shooting these little flies that are really annoying to kill, and they take a ton of time off their clock if they hit you, which they will. Oh geez, I Finally beat this game. The ending of Jack Bros changes depending on which character you chose. In Jack Frost's ending, Pixie implies that she is the princess of this world. In Pyrojack's ending, Pyrojack believes the Pixie to be the princess of his world, and in Jack the Ripper's ending, the game's enemies gather and begin to argue before Belzoff appears and tells them that they will defeat the Jack Bros next year. Also, there's an extra playable character in this game. You can actually play as Pixie either by beating the game in hard mode or by inputting a code into the password screen and then pressing a combination of buttons. Pixie is a strange character. She has a projectile that deals less damage than Jack the Ripper's, I think, but still deals more damage than Pyrojack's, but she can only fire one projectile at a time, and her super move makes her completely invincible on a regular floor, but in the boss rooms it will only deal damage. The best part about Pixie is that it doesn't force you to listen to Pixie ramble on about enemies at the beginning of each floor. I also want to talk about character balance. There is none. Jack Frost is the hardest character to play as in this game. His high fire rate in no way makes up for his low damage, so enemies like the Tomcat are difficult to kill and will usually hit him even if you hit it at the earliest possible time. Pyrojack can efficiently take out most enemies, making him your normal character of sorts, and Jack the Ripper may only have a short-range attack, but he not only deals massive damage, he also holds his knife out if you just hold the attack button. If you play this game and want to give yourself a challenge, choose Jack Frost, but if you want to play just normal, choose Pyrojack or Jack the Ripper.
That's Jack Bros. It's honestly a pretty decent game on a console where every other game other than Wario Land sucks. And that's all I really have to say about it. Actually, one more thing. Atlas, please remake Jack Bros, I'm begging you!